Welcome to New Arrivals. My name is Nick, and this episode is dedicated to the not so obvious choices, the oddballs of the watch world, which is my favorite corner to dig into. So let's get into it. First up is a watch that used to be the contrarian's choice, but at this stage, I think it may have lost some of that off the beaten track appeal. I'm talking about the Explorer 2 reference 1655, the original version of this legendary sports watch. There's so much to like about this watch. Yes, it's the first version of the Explorer 2, but more importantly, Rolex updated the design in the following generation to tie it more closely with the rest of the sports lineup, leaving this watch as a kind of time capsule for 1970s design, which has never been repeated since. This particular piece has the added appeal of being a straight seconds example. In the first few years of production, the seconds hand was just a simple straight shape, before Rolex later updated it to incorporate a lume pip. In the same way collectors hunt for red submariners or double red sea dwellers, this is one of the early run details that Explorer 2 collectors really seek out. And on top of that, we've got a riveted bracelet and some serious patina on these hour markers. This is truly a special piece that really speaks to collectors who like to look for things outside of the obvious choices. Okay, let's talk about the integrated bracelet sports watches for a bit, because we've got three alternatives on the table, and I think they offer something different from the usual suspects. So this part of the market has become, I would say, incredibly congested in recent years. Everyone wants a piece of the pie, but one watch that definitely wasn't late to the party is the Laureato. It launched back in 1975, which not only makes it over 50 years old, but crucially, it predates the Nautilus by a year, which I think is something that not many people know. And I also think that it's nice that the Laureato has that history behind its name. The watch we have here is one of my favorite modern interpretations. It's a collaboration with Aston Martin, and it's constructed in green ceramic. So apart from making this one of the most striking modern versions of the Laureato, the ceramic construction, well, it also makes it really practical. Just holding it in my hand, it's super lightweight, and it's also, as ceramic is well known for, extremely scratch resistant. The dial on this one is also another standout feature. It's finished in Aston Martin Racing Green, and it features an intricate crosshatch pattern, which plays with the light really nicely. Watch and car collaborations are everywhere, but I like how considered this one feels, because it's not overt. The Aston Martin branding is subtly incorporated. It's just stamped on the case back on the sapphire crystal. And this watch was released in both 42mm and 38mm sizes. This one here is the 38, and honestly, it wears incredibly well. In the same way that the jumbo Royal Oak just feels right on the wrist, the 38mm Laureato absolutely nails the proportions. The other kicker here is that this one is one of just 188 pieces, which I think's a respectably low number for a modern limited edition. Moving across to something from one of the strongest contemporary contenders in this genre. This is the Antarctique from Czapek and C. So Czapek is a name that dates all the way back to 1845, but it's also a company that lay dormant for years. But eventually the brand was resurrected back in 2012, and one of its signature collections is the Antarctique, which combines this angular integrated shape with plenty of original design details and character, which I think really separate it from the competition. Firstly, if you look closely at the case flank, we've got these kind of hollowed out sections. And I think it breaks up the lines of what you would expect from a typical integrated bracelet sports watch. Then there's the bracelet, which has these kind of shaped center links that are polished, contrasting against the matte main links, and I think that's also a really nice touch. And on this example, we've also got a glacier blue dial, and it also features the Antarctique's customary trapezoidal motif, which looks amazing in different lights. This is one of those watches that's easy to gloss over online with so many choices in this integrated bracelet sports watch genre, but I think when you try it on in person, the quality of finishing immediately becomes apparent. It's a watch that genuinely blew me away the first time I handled one. Flip it over and the movement finishing is equally as impressive. We've got beveling and contrasting finishes throughout the bridges. And the overall movement architecture I also think is quite unique. Now, in our last edition of New Arrivals, I devoted the entire episode to the Octo Finissimo because for me, it is, without a doubt, one of the most important model lines of the past 10 years. We'll put a link above so you can check that out afterwards. It's broken records for thinness across multiple complications, including the chronograph GMT, like the one we have here. Not only that, this reference also features a sketch dial where the traditional printing is replaced with a kind of sketch rendering. It's like a really nice touch to me and feels fitting for the Octo Finissimo's architectural design language. Let's also take a look at that record-breaking movement. Bulgari somehow managed to incorporate automatic winding into a watch that's just 6.9 millimeters thick. This was achieved using a peripheral rotor, alongside some other genuinely insane watchmaking trickery. To fit those complications into a movement measuring just 3.3 millimeters thick, it's truly astonishing. And handling these watches in the metal makes you appreciate what they've been able to achieve. And as I mentioned in the last New Arrivals video, I'm a massive fan of this collection and also what Bulgari has managed to achieve with it. Moving across to Cartier now. And I want to talk about this Tank Française because I think Cartier does skeletonization incredibly well. What I like is that the design aspect feels just as important as the technical side. It's like, despite the skeletonization, Cartier hasn't sacrificed some of its most distinctive design traits, in particular, the Roman numerals. Here, they actually form part of the bridges of the movement itself in order to maintain that unmistakable Cartier identity. I also think both the Tank and the Santos, with their squared shapes, frame the skeletonization especially well. This example is finished in 18 karat rose gold and also features a larger, more contemporary size than traditional Tank references, which I really think suits the overall feel of this watch. Okay, so when this watch first arrived in the office, I genuinely had no idea what it was. And I was pretty surprised to see Franck Muller on the dial. Then the surprises kept coming. This watch was launched in the mid-1990s to celebrate the brand sponsorship of a McLaren F1 GTR that competed in the 24 Hours of Le Mans in 1995. And visually, it looks nothing like the Franck Mullers most people associate with the brand. Those tonneau-shaped cases, the slightly whimsical dial layouts. Instead, this is a classic mid-century style 37mm steel case. But the more closely I looked at the watch, the more I realized the dial did have a trick up its sleeve in true Franck Muller fashion. It features a 24-hour display, which is both quirky and perfectly fitting for the race it commemorates. It's something we seldom see, and it's a layout I really appreciate. The other watch that immediately springs to mind is the Breitling Cosmonaut, which I also love. And interestingly, this watch uses the same Lemanian movement found in cosmonauts of the same era. I also think the orange accents add loads of character, but not so much that you couldn't comfortably wear this every day, especially if you paired it with a more neutral strap. This is exactly the type of watch I love to see. An out-of-favor brand doing an out-of-character collaboration, yet somehow it all comes together so well. There's also so much nostalgia wrapped up in this thing. And for motorsport fans wanting a nice crossover watch with a difference, this is a seriously cool option. What a bunch. These watches are a great reminder there are so many interesting pieces out there beyond the obvious picks. These watches are all live on the site now alongside a huge selection of other pieces. So head over to check them out. And we'll be back soon with more great watches in the next episode of New Arrivals.